Welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. In studio right now, again, Orlando Bailey, the Executive Director of Outlier Media. We have Portia Roberson, the CEO of Focus Hope, and Sheila Cockrel, CEO of Citizen Detroit. Again, thank you for joining the roundtable. We were kind of anticipating, at least I was, a little more robust conversation on crime. It was a good conversation, but I thought there'd be more, especially from the former police chief. I do want to hear, we're going to listen to the entire conversation about crime right now.
We have to make prevention a part of our crime reduction strategy and not just over-police our communities into safety. We have to make sure that the good men and women of our police department have the resources that they need for real community policing throughout the city of Detroit. And we have to have safe spaces and places for our young people between the most dangerous hours of the day, and that is 3 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Community policing, building trust-based relationships in our community. When I got here in 2013, the community didn't trust the police department. When I got here in 2013, we had a response time of over an hour. We had a clearance rate to homicides of 11%. We held people accountable. And during that holding people accountable, we changed the organization. As your mayor, I will continue to build on the successes that we realized during my tenure.
Without a doubt, Detroit has become more safe. But if people don't feel safe, we have a lot more work to do. And so my goal would be to build on the success that has taken place thus far, particularly within community violence intervention, where we have organizations that go out into our neighborhoods, and within those zip codes, we've seen a 50% reduction in crime in those areas. I do believe we do need more boots on the ground, old school community policing like we used to have, in a way that does not over-police but builds trust.
If you're going to decrease crime, we got to give people opportunity. And we got to make sure that we have the resources appropriated so that we're not allocating those resources to costly settlements. When we just look, because sometimes you can be so close to the forest you can't see the trees. When we just look at the fact that in the last 3 years, City Council approved more than $63 million in DPD settlements. At some point, we got to ask ourselves, how many more officers could we put on the street? How much more equipment? How many more mental professionals could we equip our department with?
All right, so how do they do on the topic of crime?
Oh, man. Now, this was a fiery response. You know, I like how Sheffield acknowledged the work of the community violence intervention work that has been going on. That is neighborhoods and community groups policing themselves and using restorative practices to reduce crime in neighborhoods. I love that. I love how she toed the line between more community policing but not making sure that people don't feel over-policed.
Sure.
Kinloch had a really solid point about the high number of police misconduct settlements that take place at the city council table, millions of dollars every year. It's a large part of the budget. He didn't really close the point, I think, like he wanted to because he ran out of time, but I do think it's worth noting.
Okay, Portia.
Yeah, I think they all address crime as well as we could have expected from them. I think the idea of, again, not over-policing, I think was a huge issue. I think Saunteel brought up 3 to 8 o'clock is the most violent time. I think Mary did great in saying that, like, people have to feel safe. I know that the numbers reflect that crime has gone down in Detroit, but honestly, I don't know that people feel that the crime
Numbers
is...
and feelings are two different things.
Two different things,
right.
Two totally different things. And deciding where you want to live is based upon your feeling about some place. Sure. It's not based upon, oh, I looked at the data, and the data says I'll be safe in Detroit. Right. It's about how you feel every day walking in and out of your home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Orlando and Portia have said it all. I think they all did pretty good on that. Although I do think the lawsuit settlement thing, not to get nerdy and techie here, that money doesn't come out of the police budget. That's literally part of the general fund.
Yep.
We should address the question of why we have so much police misconduct, which goes to looking at the way Public Act 312, binding arbitration, takes control of the process of disciplining cops out of the control of the leadership of the department and puts it in the courts.
Yeah. So during the debate, we talked about crime, affordable housing, education. The former police chief going as far as to say that he would fire, Dr. Nikolai Vitti. Which one of these topics?
He can't do
He
that.
can't.
So
Right,
I don't know why
he can't
they
do that.
call
Right.
things they cannot
Fact
do.
check.
Exactly. Yeah, he doesn't have that power. Right. Of those topics, what do you think is going to matter most to voters, and more importantly, the voters who actually are voting?
Well, I think crime is still going to be one of the key issues for any voter in Detroit. I mean, that's always going to be something that people are concerned about. I think development in neighborhoods is still going to be a huge topic for voters as they think about what's going to happen over the next 4, 8, 12 years. I mean, we've seen the development. We know that there is still the idea that there are 2 Detroits. There's downtown and there are the neighborhoods. So I think people are going to be concerned about where is the investment in our neighborhoods, both as it relates to fighting crime. Certainly education came up, even though the mayor doesn't control schools, but how do schools get better in the neighborhoods? Why can't we now go to a neighborhood school like you could when I was growing up, right? People don't want to send their kids to that school. When people decide where to live, it's about whether or not they can send their kids to school in that neighborhood.
We're running out of time, and I do want to talk about the fireworks in the closing statement. So we're going to watch that entire thing, and then we'll have one final conversation.
Detroit, you inspire me every single day. And it has been an absolute honor to serve in this city. I have been here with you, alongside you, fighting for you, whether it's in the streets, boots on the ground, connecting and empowering, or in the suites, passing policies and programs that directly impact your quality of life. We have accomplished so much, but we do know that there's still so much more that we can do together. Imagine a Detroit where housing is affordable, where our educational system is strong, where our neighborhoods are walkable and vibrant, where safety is a right and not a privilege, and where economic opportunities are within reach for every Detroiter. That's the Detroit that I believe in, that I'm fighting for. And with your vote, we can and we will get it done. So let's get to work, Detroit.
Ms. Jenkins.
Thank you for being here tonight. In order to have the Detroit that we all dream of, we have to have a leader who is experienced, prepared, and committed to doing the work. So the choice is clear. If you want a future that includes more guns in schools, locking up our kids, Craig is your guy. If you want a part-time mayor who's working 2 full-time jobs, Kinloch is ready. If you want a mayor who shows up on Instagram but doesn't show up for meetings, then follow Mary. But if you want a mayor who is committed to this city and will continue the progress that Mayor Duggan has brought to this city over the past decade, then keep thinking Jenkins. I am Saunteel Jenkins. I've worked in nonprofit, for-profit, business, and education. Thank you.
Mr. Craig?
The gloves are off now. Let's party. No, I'm okay with that. Because all of you know, first and foremost, I'm a Detroiter. I love this city. Both times that I lived here, I lived in the city of Detroit. I could have moved anywhere, but I stayed. And when I left service, I stayed. I'm a public servant. And I am not a politician. I'm not going to tell you something for a feel good. I'm going to tell you how it is. And I did it as your chief, and many of you know that about me. I have, unlike my colleague, a proven track record of success. Now, let me tell you what a proven track record of success looks like. Executive level leadership, and let's not forget, a mayor has to be able to effectively handle a crisis. Let's think about 2020. Detroit City.
Time.
Okay.
Mr. Kinloch.
Some of my opponents tonight evidently have forgotten that construction does not happen by destruction, that you cannot build yourself up by tearing other people down. That's why we need a different type of leadership. I'm grateful tonight that we've had an opportunity in order to discuss the issues that are relevant to the citizens and the residents of this city. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity over the next 7 weeks that I'm going into every city council district holding my own forums, because I'm not interested in kissing the rings of individuals who believe that they got the right to talk on behalf of people, but I'm gonna talk to the people. 2 things we need to know. Number 1, what are we building in Detroit? And 2, who can we trust to get it done? Lift every block with Kinloch.
All right, we've got 2 minutes left here in the show. I put fireworks in air quotes because it's nothing like we've seen in the past.
This is the most decorum
right?
I've ever seen.
Okay, so let me ask this. I'll start with you. Who won? Was there a winner?
I don't think there was a winner. I think Sheffield and Jenkins came out on top of the entire event.
Okay, Portia?
I would agree. I think, Sheffield came and did what she needed to do, but so did Jenkins. I mean, I think Saunteel came and presented herself in a way that people will maybe take another listen to what she's talking about outside of what was considered fireworks.
Okay. Orlando.
In terms of the candidates who were able to espouse more about their policies and their viewpoints, I think Saunteel and Mary both did an excellent job of doing that within the time constraints. I think Kinloch had a really fiery response to Saunteel's shots at the end, and also him just sort of answering the critique that he doesn't show up to community forums and saying, I'm not interested in kissing the rings of people who think they speak on behalf of people. I want to go directly to the people. People will disagree with that, but I thought it was a solid answer for the forum that he was at. Yeah,
I agree.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Local 4 Live. Great insight into the debates. Believe it or not, this election is just under 2 months away now.
Yeah, the absentees go out this week.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, Orlando, Portia, Sheila, thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
All right, when we come back here on Local 4 Live, we're going to look at Ash's forecasts. There's a storm brewing. We'll talk about that. And it's not a political one.